This is Dave and I's trip on a little piece of the Olympic Discovery Trail. We started at the Elwha River. This is the Elwha River Bridge, which is really cool. There's the bottom part here that's for pedestrians, and then the cars are up above that. Really cool. I have most of this in warp speed. Remember, I am new to my GoPro, so we zoom along and I swing my head to look at the view, and I swing my head to check my gears, and I swing my head to see where Dave's at. So in warp speed, it looks really jerky. I'm getting better at holding my head still, but here's a really cool little bench that they had along the way. Sometimes it feels slower than others. I don't know if there's actually a difference in the GoPro, but it's really smooth considering, I move my head a lot. That's kind of the cool part about the GoPro is that it does that. The trail does have outhouses regularly. I did not necessarily keep track about how often they have them, but it's regular enough that I didn't use them all. So our original plan was just to ride up here to the top and then turn around. This is the one I did last spring. That was our original plan. And this is out on the Elwha Reservation part of it, and it's just a really, really beautiful trail. Little bridges. One part of the trail along here. Somebody, maybe a couple of somebodies, had gone through and decorated the trail with Christmas ornaments. This is where we stopped. This is where we were supposed to turn around. It would have made it about 7 miles. And then we decided, oh, we're going to go just a little bit further. That's what we decided. One more conversations like. Um, and so we went, this is through the neighborhoods of Upper Port Angeles. I'm sure this neighborhood is named, but I don't actually know what it is. Um, but it's all really nice. Even the parts that are on the road with the cars is really nice. It's all paved. There are pieces of it that have a lot more people than others, but it's never, ever, make sure you look both ways, never, ever like it is, say, in Anchorage, where the trails are just so crowded it's dangerous. I think this is the part of the trail that has the ornaments. Yeah, there's one right there to the left. See the little red thing? Here we go. We'll zoom in and see them. People just put them up there. There's a blue one up there. It was really cool. A little more discussion about, are we going to go on? Are we going to stay? I don't know. Well, we could call Dennis and have Dennis come get us. If we rode farther, it's like, okay, I guess we'll go farther. Stopped at this little park. So we are sitting in a little park at the top of Port Angeles. That is the former mill. I don't think it's actually functioning anymore. And way over there, out there in the distance, you can see Victoria, Canada, which is the capital of British Columbia on Vancouver Island. Today we are riding a little piece of the Olympic Discovery Trail. So we passed these folks a couple of times and making sure that we let them know, coming up behind you. This is one of my pet peeves about bicyclists is that they don't do that. Folks, you just got to. Otherwise, that's why they hate us. So Dave and I really like boats. So we slow down and look at the boats and, ooh, look at that one. And look at those two. Oh my God, I wonder if those belong to Russians. I wonder if they're confiscated. I'd like to tour one of those. So this is downtown Port Angeles. We're riding through. It is the really pretty little waterfront and bridges, and Dave rides this little roundabout. And then every time we ride by one of these, they have history on them. So I stop and was swinging my head to read each one of them as we rode by. It was pretty cool. Uh, Again, it wasn't very busy because it is winter. I bet this is more busy in the summer. And then we stopped here at this place to have lunch. Yep, yep, yep. And then I forgot to restart my GoPro until we got out here. I was trying really hard to get a picture, a video of those waves crashing up over the thing and getting Dave wet. It didn't happen. This is the Strait of Wonderfuke. If you're not familiar with Western Washington, we are riding to the right of Port Angeles there. Along this little coastal trail. This used to be a railroad. It isn't any longer, so they turned it into a rail trail. Absolutely beautiful. I sure do view winter differently in Washington now after having lived in interior Alaska for so many years. It's not that I don't go outside in the winter in Alaska. I do, but it's just different than when I was a kid and rain was cold and you just didn't do as much outside as we do now. It's just different.
I wish they'd do something with this piece of property.
Probably the biggest holdup.
It's the environmental protection part.
Yep.
Yep, there's probably some poisonous shit out there.
That doesn't mean you couldn't turn into a park or something.
Right, but in order to do that, you gotta deal with all the poisonous stuff that's out there, and that's the expensive part. And the city doesn't want to do it, and the county doesn't want to do it, and the state doesn't want to do it, and the people who used to own it are out of business, so they're not going to do it. Hi.
You dry it under 4 feet and leave it. It isn't like, otherwise it's just going to sit there. We'll put 4 feet of overburden over it and turn it into a park.
Two of us.
This is the part of the trail that goes up from the coast to Marsh Creek. And one of the homeowners along here has painted a bunch of yellow bikes and put it out in the trees. It's just kind of cool looking. In the summer, this part is really, really green and leafy, and you almost can't even see the houses that are along here. After being at warp speed for so long, this feels like slow-mo. I don't think it is. I think I was just riding slow to enjoy the scenery. All the beautiful little bridges that crosses. This is Morse Creek. Absolutely beautiful. If you haven't ridden it, you should. You can walk it also. You don't have to do it on a bike. It just goes faster on a bike. We're coming up on the part where the climb up out of Morse Creek happens, and there is a lot of hike-a-bike because it's fairly steep. It's also not very pretty, and it's really noisy because the highway is right next to it, so I didn't even include it here.
There we go. We start the climb up out of Morse Creek, which is an uphill climb.
The part of the trail from the highway to the old Olympic Highway is really pretty. It has a whole lot of up and down, and it just weaves through these trees. It's absolutely beautiful. Look at this adorable little moss-covered bridge. I really do need to learn how to wipe the lens. That's just crazy. It is a Washington thing, though, that if you aren't willing to go out and do things in the rain, you are never going to do anything. It's kind of that way in Alaska too. You got to be willing to go out and do things in the cold, or you won't get to do anything. It's a little different because there are limitations. Minus 30, you don't need to be out there doing stuff. That's just dumb. I had to test the two camera thing here. And yes, I offset them a little so that you got to hear the zoom part twice.
Zoom! Zoom!
Oh, look, there's another toilet. The downhill parts are really fun and fast, but I am still a firm believer in brakes. And although I pass him, yeah, I don't like going really fast. I just have visions of what would happen to me if I were to wreck. There are houses around here, but most of them you don't really see, and there's some road crossings, but they're minor roads, and you never see any cars on them. That's probably the coolest part about the Olympic Discovery Trail is that it crosses a lot of different terrains and land use. The part that I didn't video because I ran out of battery, goes through the Squim Valley farmland. So this is where it ended. But we had another 6 miles to go.
Okay, our ride that was supposed to be 7 miles, Dave. turned into, what was it, 22.5 miles? We ended up riding from the Elwha River to the Carlsborg store. Yeah, it wasn't supposed to be that long. Waiting for Dennis to come pick us up so we can go get the pickup and call it a day. Dave, proof of life, you're not dead, right?
I don't know about that.
And I didn't choose this, right? I was going to be happy with 7 miles. And you said, let's go a little further, right, Dave? It's all him, all him. It's all right, it was a good day. GoPro, stop recording.